One of the dads said, I thought profiling was skate sharpening. No, they're two different things. We are going to discuss what exactly is profiling, because many don't know. This is Jeff Lang, head equipment manager for the Edmonton Oilers. He's getting ready to profile some skates, and take a look at that skate sharpening machine. Same one that we got here. All right, so this is the CAG1 profiling unit. And what profiling is, last week one of the dads said, I thought profiling was skate sharpening. No, they're two different things. So basically what profiling is it's pitch correction. No, I'm not talking about auto-tune and Nicki Minaj singing. All right, I'm talking about pitch correction in the skate itself. So when a skate comes from the factory, it usually has a pretty neutral profile, which means that the skate is going to sit pretty level. A lot of times, due to quality control with overseas manufacturing, the tolerances aren't great, and a lot of times I see skates that are actually tilted a little bit back. And so when we're telling our players to get into this power skating tuck position, really good strong posture, it's very difficult for them to do that if the skates aren't profiled properly. So I have some pictures. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. This skate here came to me a couple years ago. This is one of the worst ones I've ever received. So I like to show people the pictures of this so they can really see how big a difference profiling makes. The way we can test this, I could test it by my eye, but using the white area here is just 2 sheets of paper. I'm able to really give a visual to the customer so they're able to see where exactly their pivot point is. You can see how the back of the blade is very curved, so whoever was sharpening was really rolling that skate blade across the machine, grinding down the back of the blade. When you grind down the back of the blade more than the front, it's naturally going to pitch you back. So this white paper we're able to slide back in here, so that means that none of this area that's white in the back of his skate was touching the ice. Okay, so every time he was going to turn, he was spinning out, and he couldn't figure out why. Pretty good little skater, but he couldn't really make a strong turn. You'd almost have to slow down to turn, and we never want to have to do that. So the front part here, we see all this white area here. You can see how much of the paper I was able to slide all the way under the blade. So what that does is it's going to do 2 things. It's going to show us how much blade is touching the ice. So this little yellow area right in between, that's the amount of blade that was actually touching the ice every time a stride or a glide was made. And that's really not enough blade. How much blade you need is all depending, again, on your style. There are some players that prefer more, some less, but this is too little for any player. So you could see, I mean, it's like the size of a dime is pretty much all he's got to control himself. So just imagine if your blade was that big, how hard a time would you have getting around the ice? A grown man, say for instance, and you've got the blades of a small child, it'd be very difficult for you to perform. So essentially this is what's happening here. The white paper, again, the yellow area shows us how much blade is touching the ice. And what this red line represents in the middle is what us in the skate sharpening business call the balance point of the skate. And what that is it basically means if we let the skate balance on its own, where is it going to balance out or want to rest? So it would come to rest here. You could see if his ankle is here, it's very far back. It's right around where his ankle would be. So if you've got your weight in your ankles, you're automatically going to be pitched back. And so when I'm trying to teach the kids how to skate properly in a good tuck position in our power skating posture, if we don't have that forward lean, we can't skate successfully. So if our weight is going back, well, you know, we're always fighting our skates, and it just makes the game so much more difficult. A lot of people think, well, profiling is just for professionals. They're the ones who really know how to use their skates the best, so they're going to get the most out of it. It will help professionals because every single player in the NHL has their skates profiled. However, take for example, you've never driven a car before. Well, it's going to be very difficult if you've got a poorly manufactured car to be a good driver. If you've got a nice car, it's going to be easier to drive, right? So if we have skates that are profiled, it's just going to make your life a little bit easier. Yes, pros are going to you know, they're freaks of nature. They're such amazing skaters, right? It's like they're walking. But if you're a newer skater, profiling is just going to make your life a lot easier to be able to perform at your best. And that's really what it comes down to, is we're trying to customize the skate sharpening and the profile to every player so they can skate their best. I hope everyone understands the balance point, against where it balances out in the middle part of that blade, and then the yellow area shows us how much blade is actually on the ice. In the next slide, this is before profiling, okay? In the next slide, you're going to see what after looks like. All right, there's after. So that is a very big difference. So you can clearly tell now with this yellow area how much more blade is now on the ice when the player strides. And not just that, but it's changed location. So before it was closer to the heel, very little bit amount of blade was on the ice. Now it's under the ball of our foot, which is much better when we get into our hockey skating tuck or posture up front. And you'll also notice the new red line there. It's completely changed our balance point now. It's gone from the heel now to the balls of our feet, which is where we need to have our weight when we are skating. That's the big difference. That's what profiling does. Again, it does not sharpen your skates. It's going to basically grind off parts of the blade to give us a profile that is going to match the player to help them perform at their highest level. So this little guy was struggling with skating too upright and also spinning out like we talked about. So we made 2 adjustments for him. One, so he didn't spin out so much. We increased his blade length on the ice in stride, as you can see by that yellow area again. And then 2, to get him in that better posture, we changed the balance point from back closer to the heel to now under the balls of his feet. So he's loving the skates now. He's one of those players who has moved up north, and the parents continue to send us the blades for sharpening.